All right, so if you've ever tried to build a website, you know that feeling, right? Making it actually look good can be the hardest part. It's just so slow and frustrating. Well, today we're going to talk about a tool that's completely changing that whole game for developers.
But yeah, let's really dig into that. Why does it take so long to design a website? I mean, you have this great idea in your head, but turning that into a beautiful, working site, it can take ages of writing custom code. So what if I told you there's a better way?
Okay, so to really get why something like Tailwind CSS is such a big deal, we got to take a quick step back and look at the two absolute basics of any web page.
I love this analogy. Think about building a house. Your HTML, that's the skeleton. It's the walls, the floors, the actual structure. It's what holds everything up, right? It defines what's actually on the page. Now CSS, that's all the fun stuff. It's the paint color, the furniture, the decor. It's what gives the house its personality. And here's the key. You can't paint a wall that you haven't built yet. Your CSS needs that HTML structure to exist first.
And that leads us to this really critical point. Back in the day, the internet was just a bunch of black text on a white screen. But now, a website without CSS is basically broken. There's just no user experience. It's unusable. And that's exactly why developers are constantly on the hunt for better, faster ways to get styling done.
And that, right there, is the perfect entry for Tailwind CSS. So let's get into it. What is this thing, and how does it tackle this huge styling problem we've been talking about?
So, the official term is a utility-first CSS framework. Whoa, okay, what does that even mean? Well, think of a framework as just a toolbox that makes your job easier. And utility-first is the really cool part. Instead of you writing a bunch of custom CSS in some separate file, Tailwind gives you a giant collection of tiny, single-purpose classes. We call them utilities. And you just sprinkle them directly into your HTML to build your design. That's it.
And you gotta love the name, right? A tailwind for an airplane is that wind pushing it from behind, making it go faster with way less effort. And that is exactly what this framework does for you as a developer. It just helps you build things so much faster.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, isn't this just like Bootstrap? And that's a super common question. But here's the thing, they're fundamentally different. Bootstrap gives you fully finished components, like a pre-built button or a complete navigation bar. It's like buying a prefab house. It's quick, yeah, but all the houses kind of look the same. Tailwind, on the other hand, gives you the bricks, the wood, the nails, all these tiny little utility classes and says, here, build whatever unique house you want. It's all about total control and flexibility.
All right, enough theory. How does this actually look when you're writing code? Let's build something simple, like a headline, and see how these utility classes come to life.
Okay, check this out. We start with just a plain Hello World heading, nothing special. Now we want to make it big. Boom, we add the class text6xl. See that? No CSS file. We're still on our HTML. Okay, now let's make it bold. We just add font bold right next to it. How about an underline? You guessed it. We just add underline. Are you seeing this? We're literally just stacking these little descriptive words together to build a complex style, and we never once have to leave our HTML file. That is the magic right there.
And that's really the core idea here. You aren't stuck with someone else's design. You can mix and match these little utility classes to create literally any style you can dream up, and you do it right there in your HTML. It's just such a smooth and fast way to work.
Okay, so we've covered what it is and how it works. But now for the million-dollar question. Why should you actually care? What are the real benefits of using Tailwind?
Well, how about this for a start? A 35% increase in speed. That's not a small number. Developers are building UIs up to 35% faster with Tailwind. And it makes sense, right? When you're not constantly jumping between your HTML and your CSS files and you stop wasting brainpower trying to come up with clever class names for everything, you just get into this flow state. Your speed just goes through the roof.
And it's not just about speed. You get total control. You can customize everything to perfectly match your brand. And because you're using utilities, you pretty much stop writing custom CSS altogether. Oh, and making your site look great on a phone, it's baked right in, making responsive design super simple. But maybe the best part is maintainability. A year from now, when you look at a piece of code, you don't have to go digging through some giant CSS file to figure out what's styling it. The styles are right there, with the element. It's a lifesaver.
And here's the bottom line, why this really matters for your career. This isn't some quirky little tool anymore. Tailwind is blowing up. It's quickly becoming the standard for all kinds of projects, from freelance gigs to big-time company jobs. Seriously, start looking at job descriptions. You're going to see it everywhere. Knowing this stuff is a huge plus.
So I want to leave you with this question. If you could build amazing, unique websites that much faster without all the usual pain, what would you build? What's that cool idea you've been putting off because it seemed like too much work? That's really the power that a tool like Tailwind gives you. It frees you up to just create.